Yeah, look, it's prayer water cocoa. You can jump up on it now, you don't need the pogo. Yeah, we diving off, bitch, we about to splash. All up in the deep end, but we ain't up on a boat though. We gon' stir it up some similar to cake batter. Headed to the top, no skipping steps and no ladder. These questions ain't some shit up on the street. Can't just walk around and put the faith inside myself. Got to work, stop the doubt. Trying to change the world, you better change yourself first. Living my life to the fullest, no round trip ticket on that hearse. I'm a star, so I burst. Entrepreneur, I got merch. Put your back against the wall and I can show you what you worth. We go in, we get deep. TLC the way we creep. Need a mop, need a taco, where we spilling all the tea. This that prayer water cocoa, keep me right in it weather. On my way to the promised land, can we get that together? Yeah, look, prayer water cocoa. You can jump up on it now, you don't need the photo. Yeah, we diving out, we about to splash. All up in the deep end, but we ain't up on the boat though. We gon' stir it up some similar to cake now. Yes, sir. Y'all already know what it is. No time to play. It's your boy Jaloy, baby. Turn up like the vegetable and we about to take off like a plane ticket. You know what I'm talking about? It's episode 6 of Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter, man. And I want to thank you for being here and I want to thank you for joining us. Shout out once again, man. I always got to start out. Shout out to all of the followers, subscribers, people following the Instagram page, the YouTube page. Follow us at our home base, which is anchor.fm.com. So that basically has all the platform links to Spotify, Apple, Google, you know, a few other places where you can kind of listen to the podcast, even some places for free. So check us out, you know, and the thing about Anchor that's really, really cool, you can actually leave me like a voice memo or a message. So I've had like a lot of people messaging me, you know, you can email me at prayerwaterandcocoabutter@gmail.com. You can email the show if you had a question or comment about a guest. Where can I find this person? How do I do this? How do I get in contact? Hey, Jaloid, I want to say this about that part of the show. Hit your boy up. It go down. You know what I'm saying? Hit your boy up. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. You can support the show by any way you want to. You know, first and foremost, by telling somebody about the show, continuing to listen. Thank you guys so much. You know, there's like a donate link or something like that. On the Anchor website where you can actually contribute a single payment or do something like contribute monthly. Everything that you guys do is appreciated, man. We do it for you. Prayer, water, and cocoa butter. To the show, man, we appreciate you, each and every person. Over here on my green tea, you know what I'm talking about.
Let's get into the work. Hey. Let's get into the work. Wow. Let's get into the work. Fuck what you heard. We give it to you straight. Yes, no chaser with no curse. Let's get into the work. Let's get into the word, man.
Trying to do right. And I thought about doing something a little bit different this episode because see, for me, like I actually have like family members that like listen to the show. You know, like, you know, my father, you know, my uncle and stuff like that, you know, cousins. And like my mama, she be watching the show and she was like, hey, you know, like enjoyed the last episode of Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter, but I saw you were drinking. I was like, Mama, first of all, okay, I think I had like a glass of wine. Or if I do a drink, you know what I'm saying? It's like a single drink, a few ice cubes, you know, usually with some type of zero sugar chaser. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was like, I literally think I had like, you know, like a glass of wine, maybe, you know? And she was like, yeah, just watch yourself. You know, those are the devil's berries. All it takes is one. You go right outside and kill somebody. I'm doing the podcast from my damn house. I said, you know what? How about you just listen to the audio? How about that? So we not sending Ma Dukes the YouTube link no more. I had to do some things to help her set up her phone anyway, so she won't even know what's going on. Hey, honey, I think YouTube shut down. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, they was talking about that on the news. I heard about that. Yeah, YouTube shut down. You know, foolishness. Family. Can't choose. My Dukes. I hope everybody's ready to take on the week, because I sure as hell am. I tell you what, that boy Brady, here we go again. 7th championship. I think 10 tries, went to another conference, won the Super Bowl, and didn't just win the Super Bowl. I had actually had everybody I spoke to about the Super Bowl ahead of time thought it was going to be a nail biter. Oh, it's going to be close. Or if they did think it was going to be a blowout, they thought it was going to be Kansas City. No. Brady had other plans. 31-9. Stomped them boys. Beat down. Ass whooping. And it's so wild how we do with our thoughts, the way we think of things. Like I think I've mentioned before, I don't really bet. I learned that like a long time ago. Like as a family, something like that, we'll do like, you know, family games or something like that. You know, we'll bet like a Subway card, you know, or something like that. And even that, I lost that this weekend because I went with a pretty pick. And we do that a lot of times. Even me, who has talked about Tom Brady on this show, his greatness, I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way. I just like, how are you going to beat the Chiefs? Boy, Patrick Mahomes slinging that thing so pretty. you know, Tyreek, the cheetah, you know, Kelsey. I didn't think it could get done. They young, you know, I just even thought that the Chiefs were going to get done. And I remember my dad was like, no, you know, I'm going with Brady, you know, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. Tom Brady damn near didn't even play the fourth quarter. And that gave time for the streaker. I don't know if y'all saw the streaker because they kind of cut off. They kind of cut off on you, boy. They had a streaker. It was in the fourth quarter. Dude somehow gets on the field. He got on a onesie fluorescent pink thong swimsuit. Ass cheeks hanging out. You know, he had shorts on, but he was trying to jig and move like he had a football. But it was crazy because there's this dude, I got his name, Vitaly Zadrowski. He's like a notorious serial prankster for like the Olympics, you know, Senate, you know, be showing up at presidential debates, all this stuff. Yeah, like he had like tweeted out on his account with a picture like, we did it. I don't know if everybody caught that. Look it up. It's on YouTube. You know, but yeah, he did it to promote his new porn company, Vitaly Uncensored. He damn sure got my attention. I'm going to check it out. You put in that kind of work, you get on the Super Bowl field. How do you get on the field? I don't understand. How does this guy keep continuing to be? This is supposed to be the most secure event in the country. Not only due to the protection of the players and fans and stuff like that, we got COVID-19 going on. He wasn't running out there damn near butt naked with no mask. He in shape too. Seriously, he's a former athlete. There's no doubt in my mind he does some of this because he's angry. He's a former athlete. Like the security guards was trying to catch him and stuff like that. He was embarrassing. Dude's diving. They finally got him before he ran into the end zone. Y'all got to look it up. Shit was hilarious. I said, boy, you know, got my attention. Battalion Uncensored. You know, my God. But it's wild though. Because I thought that the Chiefs, even though I had like picked them to win, there was something in me, man, that it really thought that they may have a problem. And I'll tell y'all why. Because I'd heard a report. I don't know if y'all heard about this. It came out like literally the day before the Super Bowl happened that Andy Reid, who is the coach of the Chiefs, you know, was coaching them last year when they won the Super Bowl, longtime coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. When like Donovan McNabb was there and stuff like that. His son, who is actually works for the team as a linebackers coach, was in the hospital and being investigated for possible arrest because he had got in a car accident where he had injured like two little girls. Like one wasn't badly injured, but the other one, who's like 5, she's on, you know, like life support. I think she has like life-threatening injuries. Maybe I don't want to say life support, but I know they had listed that she had life-threatening injuries. So the police had stopped him. He had told them he had had 2 to 3 drinks, and they had noticed that he kind of somewhat smelled like alcohol, and his eyes were bloodshot, and that he said he had a prescription to Adderall. He had like an Adderall prescription. Number one, why aren't you being arrested? I'm curious. Because when I got my DUI, they damn sure put my black ass up. It wasn't no going to the hospital. And I damn sure tried to pull my insulin trick. Can we stop by Grady Hospital before y'all book me in? I just want to make sure my sugar okay. Get your black ass in the car. Get your black ass in the car. That's wild to me. He in the hospital, I think he said, so I'm not sure how badly injured he was. Like, you know, hopefully he's okay. You know, he didn't lose his life. But this guy, I kind of, you know, seen some information about him that he had actually had multiple DUIs. He had a road rage situation where he had like pulled a gun on somebody. You know, just kind of like a lot of issues. And Andy Reid, he had actually had a son, I believe it was in 2007, who passed away due to a drug overdose. That's just such a tough situation, man, because it's like you're trying to focus on winning the biggest game of the year. You won last year. You're going against Tom Brady. And to think that his son is having to stay home and be in the hospital and being investigated, you know, hopefully this little girl retains her life and she lives. But even if she lives, I mean, what are her injuries going to be? What's the rest of her life supposed to be looking like? You know, because you made this choice. You know, I hope everybody's better for the long haul, but I got to be honest, when I had heard about this, I knew that would be something that would be on the coach's mind. And a lot of people were talking about how Andy Reid, the plays, you know, the Kansas City just looked sloppy. I couldn't tell you the last time Kansas City Chiefs scored 9 points. I was like, what is going on? And to think that something like that did not affect the outcome of the game, I'm not putting nothing past Tom Brady, and the Tampa Bay defense was incredible, you know, but when I had heard that, I just thought about that. You know, like what's going on with you as a father in your mindset when something like that happens? because obviously this guy is working hard. It's his career. It's his dream. He actually employed his son. He got his son working with him, you know, but to continue to have this family history of very, very tragic behavior, you know, with seemingly some of it, you know, induced by maybe drugs and alcohol. I don't know. You know, maybe Andy Reid needs to possibly think about taking some time, you know, to maybe work on something a little bit different, you know, because that's a tough, tough situation to have already lost one son, to have another son accused of, you know, nearly killing a child. That's tough, man. Football, that ain't that important. You know, maybe it's some other things he maybe possibly needs to think about. But I wish him the best, you know, because I know that's a tough situation. I got to give a shout out to one of our guests who was a previous guest. I believe it was episode 3. That girl, Gina Liago Law Group, Divine Mind coach. She is an attorney as well as a life coach. And Gina, as I kind of mentioned during our interview, will always send me these really, really like kind of helpful YouTube videos. Gina, boy, you got to stay up on it. You better have that data. Better have that data or that Wi-Fi connected, because she be sending them. She be sending them. But I appreciate it, man. It's always something you can learn from. It's always something helpful. And the one she had said recently was called Turn Your Brain into a Creation Machine. 6 steps to manifest more of what you want. So the channel is actually called Your Universe. I've subscribed to them, and they got a lot of just, kind of like helpful videos, motivational speeches, different things like that. The videos be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. You got to kind of take some time to listen. And I believe our guest today actually mentioned some of the stuff about this particular video. There was one thing that it kind of caught me specifically, because I'd had this situation with one of the guys that kind of helps me do business. Like, we do some business together, photos and different stuff. And I kind of wasn't being able to communicate with him the way I kind of wanted to communicate. And for me, as I've kind of mentioned, sometimes it don't be worth it to me. It's not worth it to me to argue with you or to get angry. I'm just not really going to deal with you. I don't feel that, I need to like scream at nobody or get in no argument. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can discuss it, we can disagree, but if it kind of gets like that, I'm just not really going to deal with you. I just kind of felt we weren't communicating the way that we previously were. And so I really kind of reached out to him and kind of see, and I felt it was like maybe something that wasn't personal. I was like, is this, like financial, or something? And we were able to kind of have a conversation, and he had let me know just for real, hey, listen, man, I'm kind of dealing with certain things and this is going on. And so for us to continue to kind of working in the capacity that we were working in, I might have to need more from you. And the thing is that when somebody's been doing something for you, you got to make some real decisions sometimes. This was a person that I wanted to continue to work with, and he wasn't coming at me from no fugazi standpoint. This wasn't no BS. I knew it, because I always try to research what it is going on, especially when money is exchanging hands. So I knew he was coming at me real and just his mannerisms and his character. But he's not maybe as vocal as I can be sometimes. We were kind of struggling to get to that point, but man, it was great to be able to have a conversation. And I was like, man, I want to continue to do business. I like the way you work. We work well together. Let me know what it is that you need. What can we work out? What can we negotiate? Instead of like losing these relationships and these networking opportunities with some people, as I personally have done in the past. Now, you can't work with everybody. Everybody is not worth it, because they're going to bring you down and take away from the business that it is that you're actually trying to handle. You worried about them and the foolishness they got going on, when you should be worried about what it is that you're working on and building. So everybody is not worth it. But the ones that are, you got to take a step back sometimes. Anytime something happens, I always try to look at myself first. Man, this is fucked up. I got fired, or, you know what I'm saying? Oh, old girl tripping on me. My girl tripping on me. Or, you know what I'm saying? So-and-so told me I need to get it together. I always, when this happens, man, look at myself first. Was I in the wrong? And I'm not saying I need to spend a whole lot of time. You ain't about to have your boy questioning himself and no out in public for no 20 minutes. Sit down on no park bench, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out what I thought about what you said. Hell no. But what I do is look at myself, man. You got to start there. Was it something I did? Could I have handled this situation a little bit better? And if not, you know what I'm saying, you can deal with that too. Listen, I try to handle everything pretty much the right way. And if you feel confident in that, man, you keep it moving. But I was glad I was able to work to get to that point, because I knew that was, a good thing. I wanted to continue to do business with this person. Let's build. Put this JMJ Entertainment with what it is that you have going on. So that's what it is I'm about. I'm glad I didn't have to curse nobody out. like I'm known for doing. But we work. We work to get better every day. That's what we do over here at Prayer Water and Cocoa Butter. But listen, man, I'm excited. Once again, y'all follow us on social media everywhere at Prayer Water and Cocoa Butter. Tell somebody about the show. But look, man, we got a great guest for you on our segment, All Up in Your Business, but respectfully. All up in your business, but respectfully. We got that boy Victor Zapata, aka Young Beavz Comedy. Great guest, man. Really kind of opened up, told me some things, man. He has a very, very interesting past and history, but I know he already got a brighter future. I already know he got a brighter future. So listen, man, tell somebody about the show. Y'all tune in. Y'all stay locked and loaded. Have a phenomenal week. It's your boy, your Lord. It go down. You already know what time it is, baby. It's another episode of Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter with another edition of All Up in Your Business, but respectfully. But respectfully, baby. Yes, sir. I'm excited about this one today. We got a gentleman by the name of Victor Zapata. I actually know him as Young Beavz. I'm not too familiar with Victor Zapata, but we're going to get into that too. Comedian. Had an opportunity to kind of see this guy do his comedy, had an opportunity to actually put him on my show. He came out early when I was doing an open mic at the Down and Out in downtown LA. And it's just always been a dude that was funny, real, timely. You know what I'm saying? Good cat, man. So I'm excited to interview Victor Zapata, aka Young Beavz. Young Beavz, how you doing up in this thing?
Yeah, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to see a good friend of mine. And like he said, when we met, it was like just hospitality at the best.
Come on.
The whole environment was cool. I liked it. My favorite memory of the Down and Out was the background of the crime scene. I was like,
Yes.
good old crime scene, man. You gotta love that shit. I love that spot.
Victor was like, Jalor, you got something going on here. You got something going on. Victor came in when I was actually doing an open mic. And I used to have a lot of people that used to come through. And I'll never forget, like, I remember one day I just felt a hand on my shoulder. And I just turned around and I saw this brother, very respectful, but tattooed from head to foot. And he was just like, hey, man, I'm trying to do some comedy. And I was like, brother, how many minutes do you need? We don't want no problems. We don't want no problems. I'm just getting started. How many minutes do you need? Victor Mayer did 26 minutes. Victor Mayer did 26 minutes. Jalor, you're giving everybody else 5. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what's going on here. Shut the fuck up. Okay, please.
Oh my God.
Hey, this man a half hour, man. But no, crazy, man. Like I said, you always showing up on time and doing your thing. Where does that part come from as far as like, man, you just kind of being, even the show that you talk about, man, that was in Glendale, dude, I think you were there like seriously, like you may have been there like 40 minutes early. Yeah. And you're always typically like that, at least my experience. Where does that come from?
Yes. Pretty much where it came from was because I was in jail for like a long time, right?
Okay.
So when I was in jail, like the number one thing that you learn is that your word is everything, right? And they always tell you, like, in anything you do, and I learned this growing up. Is like, if I say I'm gonna be there at 6:30, I'll make sure to be there at 6:05 or 6:10, because what if you get lost? And like they say, excuses are like for people that sorry people.
Exactly.
So I just learned off the gate that I have to be functional and just bring it, whether it's a crowd of 5, 10, 15, 20, 100. I'm going to give you my all, and that's what I try to do, all the time,
Absolutely, man. 100. Yeah. It's crazy, right? Because people don't think all the times that some of these lessons that maybe you can learn in jail or prison can service you outside of that, So that's for real. Man, I remember talking to you about that, about kind of your experience. How long did you spend in jail?
So I started getting incarcerated when I was like, give or take, around 11, 12 years old, like as a juvenile. And my last incarceration was just recently in the month of October. I got arrested in Orange County, so I got to take a little tour of the Orange County jail system, which
a little tour.
To be honest, off the record, they have really good food. I'm not gonna lie, it was. It was like the best kind of job I've been in my life. That shit was bomb.
Oh my God, crazy!
I wasn't even tripping. I was like, hell yeah.
Say the food selection here is pretty damn decent.
Yeah, everybody was complaining like, oh man, eggs and potatoes. I was like, homie, this is like IHOP in here. You don't want that shit? Shoot it. I'll eat that shit.
That's hilarious. Shoot it over here if y'all playing around.
Yeah. I got you. Don't even trip.
You from LA or where are you from?
I'm actually, so I was born in LA. I was born in General Hospital.
Turn out.
Hell yeah. So, but I grew up in LA, but I actually got raised in Baldwin Park. And that's where
Okay.
I joined my gang and got involved with nonsense. So I grew up with my mom and my stepdad. I have two sisters and a brother. I
Okay.
grew up in a pretty decent home, but everybody has trouble, and like what happens is when you either have too much time on your hands
Mm,
or there's something going on in the house, you make bad choices. So at a
mm.
young age, I got hooked up and introduced to the wrong crowd. But to me, it was
Gotcha.
like the right crowd. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I want to be like these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm part of the 90s, so
Yeah.
everybody was in that crowd. You already know,
Yeah.
you've seen it. If
Absolutely.
you weren't from a gang, you knew people that were from a gang or
Yes.
family members that were part of a
Especially
gang.
LA
It was
back
the norm,
then.
let's say that.
Yeah, LA back
Exactly. It was
then,
active.
bro.
It was active.
Active.
Exactly. I wouldn't be wearing this jersey if we were in LA. Hell
Right
no.
outside.
There
I
would be
said, as soon
no
as I saw you
Raiders.
come on with the Ray, I said, here he go. I said, here he go. I said, Beavz gonna be
We,
Beavz. Beavz gonna be Beavz.
yeah, exactly. Hell yeah. We got to keep it real.
And it's amazing to me because you have such a great disposition and a
Yeah.
great sense of humor, man. What was
Yeah.
it for you that attracted you to the game?
So what it was obviously I had family ties, but what it really attracted me was the sense of like acceptance, belonging,
Mm,
mainly the respect, though, the respect that these people had,
mm,
because when I was growing up, it wasn't like now these little kids are like breaking windows and
right,
robbing old ladies. They're doing
right,
dumb shit.
right.
When it was my generation, we were like the kind of people to be like, hey, you know what? Hey, you know what? Hey, all right, we'll get off the street right now. Like there was more respect towards our
Right.
older
The
people.
community.
And exactly. Like we would tell
Mhm.
the people like, hey, don't hit up on this lady's house because
Right.
this is somebody's mom. But now it's like, let's hit up on everything.
Exactly.
It's sad to say because I'm still part of that like crowd, let's say,
Hmm.
but I know at least my generation wasn't that disorganized or disorientated.
Why do you think they're kind of doing more ignorant stuff today?
So what it is I feel like we've always been ignorant because ignorance is bliss. We
Yeah,
are given this idea of something like
that's
saying,
real.
like saying, hey, you know what, this is Starbucks. It's a triple
Hmm.
shot. But in
Hmm.
reality, I don't know if it has a triple shot because I wasn't there when it got packaged. I'm going
Facts.
off of what somebody told me. So when
Facts.
you join a gang, that's what you go off of. You go off
Mm,
of what somebody else tells you, and you're pretty much left to see how far you're going to run with that idea and
wow.
where are you going to take it to. So I feel what happened with these people now is they're literally getting, let's say, four different ideas, right?
Yep.
And that's not including social media. That's not including all these
Facts.
people that are rapping and trapping. Back
Yes.
in the days, they weren't really glorifying that life like they are now. Now
Yes.
they're literally like 12 years old. You see people, hey, I'm trapping. And I'm like,
Yes.
do you know what that means? Like, that means
Right.
you're
Exactly.
selling crack out of a crack house.
Right.
You live in fucking Bradbury. You live in
Right.
Altadena.
Right.
How are
Exactly.
you trapping in Altadena? You know what I mean? I'm a very observant person due to the fact that, like I said, I've been in jail so many years. And the one thing
Hmm.
that you do learn in jail and prison is to be an observer, to shut
Mm,
your mouth and just observe, watch, look at somebody's body language, look at like how they respond to you. Are they comfortable with you? Or do they trust you? Like,
hmm.
do you trust them? These are
Hmm.
the kind of things that it's like it takes you back to your primitive time of
Yeah.
like just your instincts of survival.
Absolutely. With that being said, man, for somebody that has done, I think in my total, maybe 2.5 days in jail, I got arrested one time for a DUI and I
Mm,
got picked up on another charge.
yeah,
Beavz, I was ready to get out immediately. Okay. I barely made it those 2.5 days. I pretty much
yeah.
just kept to my damn self,
You're
stayed
like,
on
oh,
the
cool.
phone trying to get bailed out. I wasn't talking to nobody. You know
That's
what
the
I'm saying?
that's the way to do it.
Hey, what's up, bro? I didn't have nothing to say, dog. Let me ask you, as somebody who's had some experience, I hear what you say, and I like what you say about being
Mm,
observant, trusting your instincts. What else would you say just are some of the top kind of things that come to mind for you as far as staying safe in prison and not just being a mark? What are some of the rules that
okay,
you would say for somebody that's maybe not affiliated? For some, because I know if you're
okay. So
affiliated,
let's
you kind of have some homies in there and stuff like
yeah,
that. If you're not
yeah,
affiliated, what
exactly.
would you say is the way to kind of stay safe in there?
For one, be open to other people's input. Because there's always going to
Mm,
be people that give you input, whether it's good or bad, right? So just be open to it.
okay.
Accept
Okay.
it. Be conscious that not every person who offers you a hand is a helping hand.
Just
It
trying to
could
help
be
you
a
out.
harmful hand. Exactly. They
Yes.
might try to mess you up. And that's the fucked
Facts.
up part about being in prison is you have to be aware that although he might seem like a friend, he's not a friend. So that would be rule
Absolutely.
number one. Be cautious and never forget or get comfortable of the fact that you are still in a chaotic environment,
Mm.
even though it's supposed to be controlled per CDC, it's not controlled.
Right.
It's
Right.
not a controlled environment.
Yeah.
The police think that they control the environment, but it's actually the inmates who control the environment. It's
Wow.
different.
Absolutely.
Second of all, I would say don't talk about nobody behind their back,
Mm.
because when you start talking about somebody behind their back, whether it's to you, a celly, or a friend, Joe Blow, I hate the way he looks in those boots.
Yeah.
Now, let's say Joe over here hears you talk shit about, okay, let's say Junior hears you talk shit about Joe.
Right.
Now, Junior can be like, hey, you know what? This guy, he loves to talk shit behind somebody's back. So
Mm.
that means that he's either afraid of him or he's willing to backstab this person. So that's
Right.
not
Right.
something you want to start getting known for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, third of all, I would say just steer clear of anything that you're not sure of. Don't commit yourself to anything, and just stay away from drugs. That's all I
I
would say.
feel that. I
Don't get
feel
involved
that.
in anything that has to do with drugs.
I think I
So yeah.
may possibly know why, but you tell me why you say that about the drugs in jail.
So the reason why I say that about drugs is because out here, let's say it's easy.
Right.
You can escape from somebody you owe money to, or just reality you could escape from. In there,
Yes.
you're still in that cell.
Right.
Even though you're mentally gone, the consequences are still gonna be there
Mm.
the next day. And the reality is you don't want to get addicted in a place like that, because it's
Absolutely.
not like the street. It's totally different.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, you're only harming your family and you're only harming yourself. So why
Wow.
get yourself in that predicament?
I know you talked about the food in Orange County was a little bit better than it is out here in some other places, but I know obviously prison is not a place where you would rather be. You're an entertainer. You got a lot of
Oh,
other
no,
things
no,
going
fuck
on
no.
for yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
What would you say kept
exactly.
you, man, even when getting caught up in these, maybe fucked up situations? What would you say kept you
Mhm.
going, motivated, keeping your nose clean while you're up in there, trying not to, get more charges? What would you say kept you focused on trying to get the fuck out?
Honestly, what I would say is just having something to look forward to. Like
Mm,
in there, I'm sober, like I am right now. I'm sober, and
mm,
I'm clear minded, and you have to have something you're shooting for,
mm.
whether it's coming home to a girlfriend, coming home to your family.
Yes.
And what I recommend to anybody who's been in jail or about to come out of jail,
Yeah.
get a job, stay busy, don't
Wow.
have no time for nothing. Because any free
Yes.
time you have, you're gonna start thinking
Doing
too
your old
much,
habits.
relapsing, and next thing you know, boom, you go back to your old habits, your old
Yeah.
ways. Next thing you know, you're back in jail again. I feel
Hmm.
like minorities
Hmm.
mainly
Yeah.
were attacked by this because of the simple fact,
Yeah.
we're not even attacked, we felt victims to it
Yeah.
because of poverty stricken areas that we lived in, and
Absolutely.
just our upbringing, and we didn't get really taught right.
Right.
We didn't
Right.
get the
There's a lot
opportunity,
of that.
and like it's like exactly, I could sit here and talk and complain and cry about, oh, my life wasn't as good as somebody else's, but in reality we just didn't know no better yet. And by the
Wow.
time I did figure it out, I
Wow.
was already like 6 7 years into the system.
Right.
And what we
Right.
don't understand is that prison is a money maker. They need
Absolutely.
bodies in there, so they're gonna keep
Absolutely.
throwing bodies in there because
Speak.
we're money. We're money.
Yeah. So it's they get you in the system,
Yeah,
Victor, and it's like it's not to really
exactly. They
remedy
don't want to
you or
let
to
you out.
cure you. It's just to keep you in there because you're a financial
Yeah,
product.
exactly. A lot of prison cities
Yeah.
that just have one prison, and all the city people work at the prison, nurses,
Wow.
janitors,
Yeah. It's a
there's
job. It's an
fucking
industry.
everything,
Yeah.
maintenance industry, PIA, Prison Industry Authority. They make money. And the
Wow.
crazy part is we're over here working for 8 cents an hour, which is less than minimum wage. And
Jesus.
they're selling
You
product
damn
and
right.
making product off us. You
Wow.
know what I mean? And we
So
don't
where
even
does
get
this eight
taxes.
cents
We
go,
can't file
Vic? Does this
taxes,
go to your
nothing.
commissary? Where does the money go?
Okay, so once a month you get paid a check of fucking $12. That's what you make. $12.
Wow.
12 fucking dollars a month.
That's the minimum
Which
wage.
sounds
That's
like
the minimum
nothing.
wage an hour out here in
That's
LA right now.
yes,
Wow.
yeah. Imagine that. So okay, in prison it goes from 8 cents to the most you can make, and we're talking about somebody who has like a degree and is like a dental assistant in there, because you could be a dentist in there. You could be like a lot of different things because you get degrees in there.
Okay.
But the most you can make is $1.25. That's like your top pay. Like, oh shit, like he's a fucking
He
engineer
balling.
over here.
He balling.
He's balling. Oh, you're balling out of control. You're making like a whole $45. That's
Woo!
balling. It's
That's
crazy, huh?
insane, man. With the charge that happened in October, and I understand things happen. I want to see more of your art. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
see more of your craft. I want you to be safe.
Mhm.
What has been your mindset to avoid trying to wind up back in that situation?
So the way I look at my life is I see a process, right?
Mm,
Like pretty much cross examination, like a process of elimination, what I need to get out of my life, right? Whether it's drugs, I eliminated that, boom. Then it went to bad acquaintances, boom, I eliminated that. So now I go by myself. Like you see me when I went to Down and Out, I was always by myself with a
yeah,
female. I don't take
absolutely.
30 homies. I don't do none of that.
Yeah.
Because what people don't understand is when you're in a controlled environment like jail or prison,
Yes.
that takes a toll on your mind. So you're just like
Sure.
here. So it's
Yeah.
hard for you to look around, you know? So
Yes.
what I'm fixing right now is myself because I already fixed everything around me, my
Yes.
environment, my friends,
Yes.
my females, everything. They're all in line. All
Hmm.
my ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
I just need to get in a row. And that's what I'm doing. So right now what I'm doing is I'm taking it day by day, I cut off the alcohol. I'm trying to think positive. What
That's
I
awesome.
do is one of the best things that I like to do in jail is read. This is a book that I'm reading right now. It's
Okay. What
Daniel
is that?
Carnegie.
Okay.
He's a really good author, right? I believe that we must master these kind of things because anybody could sit here and talk out of their ass. But if
Yes.
you could talk proper and you could talk and you could captivate an audience, that's
Absolutely.
power.
That's
That's
more
power.
money in your pocket.
Exactly.
That's more
Exactly.
money in your pocket, Beavz.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's what I want. And what I do every day, like before, you know what I used to do? I used to wake up in the morning, put on some Tupac. So or any kind of music, right? But you know what I do now? I
You
wake
sound
up
you
every
sound like
morning.
you sound like we have some of the same mornings.
Exactly.
Beavz.
Wait,
Jesus.
but there's nothing wrong with Tupac, but Tupac
Hmm.
is for like maybe 9 o'clock in the morning once you're up
Right.
and running.
Right.
To me, in the morning, you know what I listen to? It's called Six Habits That People Have. It's high performance
Yes.
people. This podcast, what it does is it tells you six habits that real influential, powerful people have. Back in the days when I used to be like just chilling, first thing I would do in the morning, wake up and touch my phone, start looking through social media
Wow.
or through my
Scrolling.
text message or
Scrolling.
my emails, right?
Hmm.
In that broadcast, it says that that's one of the worst habits you can have
Wow.
because you're already waking up your mind to drama, to things that you can't
Mm.
control. So this thing, what it says is early in the morning, I do this every day. Wake up and write six things that you're grateful for.
That's awesome.
Whether it's you still have your job, you have your house, you have good friends,
Hmm.
and that right there is gonna get your day going good. So for the
Yes.
first hour, that's what I listen to. Motivational things, how to think positive, just to reprogram my mind. And once it's because I wake up at 3 in the morning. So around
Wow.
5, 6 in the morning, boom, that's when I start hitting the jams. I start
Okay.
listening to like whatever song speaks to me, but it's always happy music,
Yes.
something that's gonna give me a higher tolerance to negativity. So when something negative comes, I'm
Mm.
just like, fuck it.
And I love that because if you
That's
want
cool.
to change, it can't just be a man. I want to do better, but you doing like you said earlier about hanging around the same. You doing the exact same thing. Like you
Yeah,
had to change
exactly,
your lifestyle. You had to
exactly.
change your behavior. How the hell did you get up in comedy, man? How did you get into it?
Okay,
Like, how did that
so
happen?
so the way it happened is because like like I said, I grew up in the system, right? So
Yeah,
there's so much bad stuff that's in there. So my sense of humor comes from the system. Like I was one of
got
those guys that was in jail, like cracking jokes. Like, yeah, they took all our shit, but we still got our nuts.
you.
You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I always try to make the something funny out of something bad, right?
Got you.
So that's how I am in the workplace. Me and one of my coworkers, we became really good friends. One
Okay.
day there's an open mic. So she tells me, hey, you should sign up for the open mic. And I
Mm,
was like, you know what? I've never touched a mic. I've never done nothing with that. And the thing is, I'm a procrastinator. So
okay.
I would have never signed up.
Without that kick in the pants from her.
Exactly. She
Mm.
signed me up and I'm chilling right there. And they call my name. And I'm like, why are they calling my name? And she goes, you're next. Go up. And I was like, hell no.
So you didn't have nothing prepared. You just
Nothing.
came like, fuck it, I'll do it. Nothing written.
Yes, nothing, nothing.
Damn.
So I
Okay.
I go up there and I'm super nervous and I just start thinking about my habits of like what I do, how I
Okay.
am, and I just started talking about different stuff that happens to me.
Okay.
And everybody was just rolling because of it was true and it was funny,
Wow.
but it was good. So I ended up going from there. I started, you know, networking with more people. I went to the Down
Yes.
and Out.
Okay.
There was a lot of them. And then I
Yes.
met Joe. So one of the
Yes.
biggest influence that I had, I don't know if you met him. I'm pretty sure you met him, Joel Cholo.
Well, actually, man, it's so crazy. I written that down because I said, man, I wrote down, tell me about your friend Joel Cholo that passed. I wrote it down because I seen your post with the tattoo and I had seen your post, his
Yeah,
previous
yeah.
post. I had another
Yeah.
friend
Uh-huh.
I knew who had posted up Joe. I didn't really know Joe like that. But go ahead, tell me about Joe.
There's a lot of people that are like, let's say homies, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they're not really gang members. They're just people who make fun of gang members, right?
Right,
And which
right,
is cool. Like I said, I don't get mad because there's
right.
money for everybody, and that's
Absolutely.
funny. And at the
Yeah,
end, you can't get mad or sad because of some shit like that. But I
absolutely.
started seeing like, man, I'm the only homie out here. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. There's
Mm-hmm.
a couple here and there, but not really. I meet Joe. Joe was an
Okay.
actual homie from East
Okay.
LA, right? So we kick it off.
Mm,
We just automatically clicked, right?
that's
And
awesome.
he had already been he was in the comedy game for years, like a lot
Okay.
of years. A lot of people knew him.
Okay.
So he starts networking me with them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he was like my mentor. Like he tells me, hey,
Mm,
don't drink too much, don't party too
mm-hmm.
much, like
Mm-hmm.
watch how you take your pictures.
That's
Like
what's
he
up.
really took
He
the
was giving
comedy
you
thing
real
serious.
advice.
Exactly. He would tell me like, don't cuss too much in these crowds, or if
Mm-hmm.
you're in this crowd, you can cuss a lot. He helped me out a
Mm-hmm.
lot, you know. It's fucked up because I did so much with him, and in the end, like the last show that I did with him was in Baldwin Park. It was a good show,
Okay.
whatever. And like I told him, hey Joe, next year, I already feel it, fool. We're gonna fucking do really good. And
Yeah.
he goes, what are you thinking? And I said, honestly, I want to do like a cholo comedy tour, like
Dude,
us, like
that'd be
homies.
hilarious. That'd be awesome.
Exactly. Exactly. And he goes, you know what? I'm in. So it was our
Yeah.
dream. And we're trying to collab on something like that, you know? And he had a
Absolutely.
lot of good friends, like also Smokey. There's a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that had his back. Rudy Moreno. He
Yeah.
knew a lot of people that supported him.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, hey, if they support me, they'll support you. And
Mm.
it's true because even though he passed, a lot of his friends became my friends and they offered
That's
me a
awesome.
helping hand, you know?
That's
They
awesome.
show me the same love they show him. That's why I got the tattoo, you know, because
I saw that.
like I said, he was a big part of my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know what, this is me keeping his memory alive, you know. I'm gonna keep it going. Even though he's not here, I'm gonna keep the dream that he had going. I believe in manifestation. What you
Okay.
say will become reality.
Come
So
on now.
my ultimate goal is to shoot a Netflix special, you
Okay.
know, like to be the first homie to do it. Because you know, there's
Oh,
been
you
other
can do it.
homies like George Perez that have done it,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to do it, you know, for my area, for our people, you
Absolutely.
know, get a little taste of greatness. That's all I want. Because like I said, I came from the gutter and I
Yeah.
just want to taste the glory, you know, like feel good.
Absolutely. I'm sure, man, with the gang background, obviously somebody like Joe Cholo, rest in peace. I'm sure you've probably dealt with a lot of loss in your
Yeah.
life. How do you deal with that, man? Like I know people handle things like that differently. With you, I'm probably sure you've, or maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe you haven't, but I feel like, you know, probably seems like you probably have. How do you deal with that, and how do you take people like Joe and other people who have been special into you in your life that you've lost? What do you take from that to kind of keep their legacy going, and what you learn from them? How do you deal with that?
So the way I dealt with it was like as a kid, I like my best friend was like literally murdered, like right in front of us almost.
Wow.
And you know, even though it wasn't a positive way of dealing with it, I dealt
Mm-hmm.
with it in a negative way, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
kept him alive by being the best homie I could be, by
Mm-hmm.
representing myself good in jail, by always having a
Mm-hmm.
good name for my neighborhood, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the negative. But
Yeah.
as I got older, you know, I started seeing that it wasn't all about negative.
Mm.
Like I always tell people, you know, youngsters or even people that I see in comedy shows, they'll be like, oh yeah, it's all about, you know, being respected. And I tell them,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's cool. You could be respected in prison and in
Right.
jail, but being respected out here is a whole nother respect. It's
Come on
better. It
now.
feels better, you know. I feel that when people see people like us that used to be bad doing good,
Mm-hmm.
it makes us feel better and it gives them a
Gives them
like
hope.
another side to us. Yeah, like there is hope.
Absolutely. Rest in peace to Joel Cholo. That's an awesome piece of remembrance as far as keeping his legacy alive. Who are some of like your people that just you watch on your off time, people you've had the opportunity to work with, people you've had an opportunity to see? Who are some of your influences,
Uh-huh.
inspirations as far as comedy?
Like I said, I love the Latino comedy.
Yeah,
But my
absolutely.
ultimate inspiration is Dave Chappelle. I love
Really?
his style.
Okay.
I love his style of comedy. Like
Very
the way
cool.
he's clean. Like he can be super clean, but he
Right.
could be super dirty. And
Right. Right.
what the tactic that he uses, because I've seen a lot of his normal specials and
Yeah.
just regular specials, right?
Okay.
And in one of his specials, he says that when he gets his punchlines and he throws them in a fishbowl, and he would
Mm,
spin it and pull it out. And
interesting.
whatever the punchline was, he would fucking write his jokes on. And that's pretty much what
Wow.
I do. 'Cause I do a lot
Mm,
of trial and error, right?
yeah.
I go to like open mics and I'll try new material. Boom, 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 boom. See what hits and what doesn't hit.
Okay.
And now what I'm doing,
A little
I
bit.
started
Yeah.
trying out a lot of my material on the lives. You know, the lives on my
Yes.
Instagram.
Absolutely.
That's all. So I'm trying material.
Great way.
So when I go to a big spot, I know what hit. Like, you know, the thing I've noticed is a lot of comedians, they'll make jokes about something that's make believe. Like, oh yeah, I wish I could turn
Man,
into the
for
Hulk and
real.
just
For
smash on my
real.
boss, right? Which is funny.
Yes.
Which is funny.
Yes.
That's funny. No knocking nobody like that.
Right.
But my comedy is something that I do every day,
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
Reality
or like
based.
something that actually has to do with me.
Yes.
So it's more personal, and I feel like it lands better.
Mm-hmm.
I make fun of myself,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
and people grasp it better, you know.
That's cool. And I hear you say that for Dave Chappelle. I know my experience with being in LA, it hasn't always been the greatest relationships between black and brown. So I'm sure your experience, not only
Yeah,
jail and
no,
just
no,
living in
no, it hasn't.
LA and also comedy,
Yeah,
that's great to hear. And I appreciate that from everybody
mm,
who are, because I watch
yeah,
everybody. I mean, like you say, I'm a black guy, so I primarily
yeah,
watch
yeah.
black
Like,
people, but I
yeah,
watch Latino comedians, I watch white girls, I watch
yeah,
Asian women, I
yeah,
watch
yeah,
anybody that I
exactly,
feel is funny or anybody I feel I can learn from.
exactly. Because
Absolutely.
the crazy part about us as minorities is that it's like me, I was a homie, right? Which I still
Hmm.
am. But
Hmm.
they tell you, oh, you can't like black people, but they
Hmm.
don't give you a reason why, you know? You
Right,
just grow
right,
up
right.
thinking I can't like blacks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what's messed up is that you
Mm,
grow up all your life not liking black people, right? And
not
in
even knowing
reality, we
why.
have the same differences.
Right.
Exactly. And this is I'm gonna share a funny story with you, right?
Mm.
So I'm in Orange County, and one of my cellies is a KKK, like straight Nazi,
Wow.
right? And me and him are talking because, like I said, I'm very diplomatic. I love to
Hmm.
conversate.
Yeah,
I like to get into a person's mind and dissect their mind.
absolutely.
Like, what makes this person tick?
Yeah.
So one day we're having a deep conversation, right? And he tells me, "Hey, why did you join a gang?"
Mm.
And I told him because that's a choice I wanted to make. It's a choice that I thought that was right for me at the time. Even though
Hmm.
I'm breaking away from it,
Right.
I don't regret that choice I made. And I
Hmm.
told him that's a choice that we make, and I feel like
Hmm.
we have free will, you know.
Absolutely.
So I asked him, "Can I ask you a question?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I told him, "Why did you become KKK? Like, why did you
Hmm.
become a racist? Like, why do you hate black people and minority like us?
Hmm.
Like, why do you hate me?" I told him, and he
Hmm.
goes, "I don't hate you. Like,
Hmm.
you're my celly. We're cool." And I
Hmm.
told him, "But technically, you do hate other races, you know?"
Hmm.
And he goes, "Well, I get it from my dad and my mom
Mm.
because that's how they raised us." And this is what I told him, and he actually started thinking, right?
Mm.
I asked him, "Has a black person ever hurt you?" And he's like, "No." And I
Wow.
told him, "Has a Mexican ever robbed you or done any harm to your family?" And he goes, "Well, no." And I said, "So how could you hate somebody who's never hurt you
Hmm.
physically, mentally, or emotionally?"
Right.
And he goes, "I just do because we hate everybody, you know? We're the
Hmm.
ultimate race." And I
Hmm.
told him, technically, you cannot hate somebody who hasn't hurt you. And
Hmm.
he stays quiet, right? And he goes, "You got a point."
Hmm.
He goes,
That's
"I
what it
don't like
takes.
you because that's what I got
Right.
taught."
You were
That's
taught that.
crazy, huh?
You know how foolishness and
Exactly.
racism and all that stuff persists? Because if you were not a big
Yeah.
enough
It's
man,
dumb.
if you were not a big enough man to ask him these questions, y'all both would have just hated each other just based off of what each other looked like. He looking at you like he a
Exactly. We
cholo,
would have
he
been
a gang member.
arguing,
You looking at him like he KKK. Look, I need a new celly. Y'all fighting every day. You know what I'm
exactly
saying? You
for
took
nothing.
the time to actually try to have a conversation with him and probably helped
Yeah,
him to even realize some of the stupidity of
exactly.
his thinking process.
And we became good friends actually. I got his
Yeah.
hookup and I've talked to him. We've kicked it on the streets. I met his
Hmm.
family. I met his dad. Everything. They came to one of my comedy shows.
That's why.
Trip out on that.
That's why.
So
Lord.
like
We
everything.
open
Come to
back
one of
up
my
that young
shows.
comedy show and I book you. Let me know before you invite him. I need to have a conversation with him. before I invite him. I need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's wild as hell. So let me ask you this, man, because clearly I listen to some of your comedy. I always do my research on the guests. So I heard you talk about being married 3 times. So I listened to some of your comedy and shit like that, man. What kind of ladies do you like, man? Obviously, you being married 3 times, you have to have a tolerance to kind of listen. I enjoy this. What kind of women do you like, and what do you find, attractive as far as a woman, whether it be loyalty or whatever? What are the type of women that you like?
What I enjoy is like I'm a very adaptable person. I could, like, let's say the girl's not that pretty, but she has a good conversation, or she might have good qualities. Like, it just depends, it varies on the things that I like on the person. But majority of the time, the key to my relationship is conversation. I want to know this person could hold a good conversation. She's open to new things, just different things. She could have differences from mine, like different likes. But as long as we could land on a common ground, I'm good. And as far as race, I've been with Black women, white women, Asians, Mexicans. I'm open to whoever wants to love me.
That's why we got that boy Young Beavz on Prayer, Water, and Cocoa Butter. We don't discriminate over here, baby.
Yeah, we don't. I love Black women. I do. And they love me too, so it's okay.
I believe it. Right. Yeah, I ain't tripping.
Yeah. I actually wear cocoa butter, so it's all good.
Turn up one time.
I ain't tripping.
Young Beavz in the building.
Hell yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah.
What would you say are the things, man, that for you, that you have worked on to allow you to continue to get better at the craft of comedy? Perhaps to help somebody else out that's interested in doing what you're doing.
So the advice I'd give to anybody is, it's not an easy road. Like the first time I did a comedy show, I went to the Ice House, right?
Okay.
And I waited there. I waited there for 4 hours.
Wow.
And you know what? I didn't go up. My girlfriend at the time is pissed, and she goes, "Fuck that! That's bullshit. You were waiting for 4 hours. We bought almost $100 worth of drinks. I'm gonna complain." And I said, "Look, that's not how we're gonna win this battle. How we're gonna win this is we're gonna come again next week. I'm gonna sign up again, and I'm gonna fucking get up there. And you know how I'm gonna get back at them? I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna fucking kill it.
Kill that shit.
I'm gonna make fun of them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kill that shit." Yeah. And that's how we're going to get back at them. And that's exactly what I did. I started meeting people there, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? You're real funny. Keep coming back." Yeah. So my advice to anybody who's trying to do comedy is don't give up. Whether you feel like you suck at first, or you bomb, or you stutter, or you miss your lines, or you're too drunk, or you're too high, keep at it. Keep at it, because comedy is something that's going to get better the more you do it. Don't try to copy somebody else's style.
Yes.
Use your own style. Try to be as genuine as you can. Yeah. Because let's say somebody tries to talk about ghetto shit like me, and they grew up not like that. Right. You're going to be able to see that it's not them,
Right through it.
Exactly. So just be who you are, stay true to yourself, and stay consistent, and you'll get good. Know your environment. Like, I'll give you an example. If I'm in East LA, I'm gonna say jokes that are like, towards us Mexicans. I'll give you an example. I did a show in Rialto at Raquel's Lounge.
Okay.
It was all Black.
Okay.
It was all Black. There was it was all Black people.
Yeah.
There was only like maybe 3 Mexicans, right?
Okay.
Some people went up, didn't do good. Another one went up, and these are known people that I'm not even gonna name because they're known comedians.
Right.
I'm not even gonna say their name. And I see him and I'm like, no, what the hell? No response. Right. Another guy, no response. Wow. Now they call my name. And I'm like, holy shit, that's gonna be me, right? And I've never bombed like that. Yeah. And I'm just thinking like, fuck, could I do this? And I'm like, fuck, you know what? I'm just gonna go up there. And I start doing my comedy, right? Like homie comedy.
Yeah.
And it's getting a couple responses here and there, but it's scattered. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta switch. I gotta start talking about what we can relate to as a general. So I start saying stuff like, hey, you know what? I don't know why we fucking hate each other. Latinos and Blacks are the same. We're some dumb motherfuckers. I say white people, they get their money and they buy a nice house and they fucking save for 401k. I say, you know what Black people and Mexicans do? First $10,000 we get a Mercedes and we live in a motorhome. Our fucking cars worth more than a house. And they started laughing.
So you actually, at this showcase, where a lot of well-known comedians were not getting a good response, and you were primarily the only person that looked like you you were able to
Yeah.
make something that these other comedians would not do, which was to have some relatability on the stage.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I got free tacos, free drinks.
Go
Hey,
down.
black people know how to make tacos. Let me
There
tell
you
you.
go. Okay.
It was bomb. It was bomb.
Beavz, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I wanted to ask you, man, what
Mhm.
besides you getting a little bit of taste of that success, nothing is promised to us. You know, I hope you live to you 150 years
Yeah.
old. You know, come visit young
Yeah.
Beavz great grandkids or something like that. Oh, y'all do
Yeah.
comedy too?
Exactly.
Jesus, y'all, you got a head tattoo and you're
Hell
6?
yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what, like his head is still soft. What
Yeah,
do you
exactly.
want your legacy to be, man, when it's all said and done for you?
That pretty much anything is possible. That just because you came from somewhere doesn't mean you have to stay that one person, you know? I
Absolutely.
feel like the one thing I want to be remembered as, because the first thing that I knew and that I'll always know was being a convict.
Hmm.
And the most memorable thing that I ended it with was being a comic. So I
Wow.
want to be known as the person who went from con to comic, and we made that transformation,
Hey,
and
bro.
everybody gets to remember,
That's
you know?
dope. I always ask everybody on Prayer Water and Cocoa Butter, man. Prayer Water and Cocoa Butter, that's my driving force. That's what I kind of grew up on. That's what I was raised with. You know, drinking my
Yeah,
water, staying, you know what I'm saying, putting the cocoa butter on, staying prayed up. What is it for you,
yeah.
man, that has kept you being who you, and it's crazy because you use cocoa butter. So one of yours might be cocoa butter. But what is it for
Yeah.
you, man, that has kept you grounded and continue to focus on, hey, Lord, it's going to be a better day. I'm going to see my success. What has helped you to keep that mindset?
I would say the hope or the thought of being loved and loving somebody, or loving myself. So it would
Mm,
be love, it would be family, because you know
mm,
love comes from family.
yeah.
And family meaning like my mom, my kids, my
Mhm,
brothers, my sister.
mhm.
But what I put above everything is music, because music is to
Wow.
me the key to the soul, you know?
Okay,
Like
I'm
with
with you
just a
on that.
simple song, I could get ready to fight somebody. With a simple
Yes,
song, I want to make love to somebody.
right.
With a simple song, I want to fucking go dancing, you know,
See,
get my groove on. So
see,
just
it's
with a
real.
simple song, I could dictate my whole day, my whole life. And as long as I have music, I'm happy. It doesn't matter whether I'm here, in jail, on the streets, at a party, at a family event. As long as there's music, I'm happy.
I need
Yeah,
you to let
I'm
people
done
know
with
where
that
they can
shit.
find you, man. Where can people listen? I've seen you on YouTube. I follow you on social media. Please let people know, man, where they can follow you online so they can keep up with you.
They can find me on Instagram under Young Beavz Comedy, on Facebook, Young Beavz Comedy. My real name is Victor Zapata. On YouTube, it's also Young Beavz Comedy, Victor Zapata. My prison number, just in case you want to write me a letter, T888562. But let's scratch that and stick to Young Beavz Comedy.
Hey,
It was a
listen,
pleasure speaking to you again, and I really appreciate the opportunity of you having me on your show.
absolutely, Beavz. And give me for
Yeah.
1 second, man, just spell the Beavz for me. What is it? It's young.
So it's a B, it's Young, which is YOUNG. That's Young. And second word is Beavz, is BEAV as in Victor, Z, and the word comedy. So Young Beavz Comedy.
I wish you the
Thank you. I really
best, brother.
appreciate it.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Stay up out here,
Yeah.
man. And we appreciate you for checking in with us on
Yeah,
Prayer
yeah.
Water and Cocoa Butter, man.